What happens when Logan finds himself falling face first into a brand new conspiracy involving a new type of gold adamantium? Well, let's hop into the pages of Wolverine issue number 5 and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, Wolverine was blindsided by the united forces of Constrictor and Lady Deathstrike. Though the two are far from acting like their regular selves right now under sway of that strange new golden adamantium. The same strange substance that is burrowing its way inside Wolverine's mind right now, talking about purity and cleansing. Logan says that he's had his mind attacked a lot over the years, but that this feels totally different because the culprit is literally calling from inside the house. It's like his own metal bones are talking to him right now, which cannot be good. Now, before Deathstrike and Constrictor can finish whatever exactly it is they started, Wolverine is saved at the last second by the return of Leonard, aka the friendly Wendigo. It's during moments like this, Wolverine is very happy to have a snarling monster like the Wendigo on his side. In a very graphic scene, we see the creature take a massive bite out of Constrictor's shoulder. But because he's so thoroughly brainwashed and dried right now, he just shrugs it off like it's nothing and keeps on walking. Wolverine is still shrugging off the effects of that mental attack, and because of that, the Wendigo has to pick him up and take him somewhere safe. Logan is really happy to see all the progress the kid has made in keeping down his bestial, violent tendencies. And it's for all those very same reasons that Wolverine doesn't want to see the Wendigo killed right now by Deathstrike and Constrictor. Because of that, he asks Leonard to leave him behind. While he faces the music, in his internal monologue, Wolverine mentions that he's never been much of a religious man, never felt like any god was out there watching over him, but in situations like this, who needs God when you have a blue elf watching it from on high? Yes, that's right, when he was needed most, Nightcrawler showed up as the cavalry and managed to slow Constrictor and Deathstrike down by using the Blackbird's missile system. Kirk scoops up Logan and his unlikely Wendigo protege. Once they're airborne, Wolverine goes out of his way to try and catch Nightcrawler up on everything that's been going on. And admittedly, it's a hell of a lot. It's during the conversation Wolverine clues into the idea that Lady Deathstrike and Constrictor really have nothing in common besides the fact that they both use adamantium. Meaning that whatever this issue is and whatever is rolling around in poor Wolverine's noggin right now, they all must be connected. On the upside though, Wolverine doesn't have to spend too long obsessing over his next course of action, as that is pretty much decided for him. There's a refinery fire nearby, which is just way too convenient to be a coincidence, meaning that this looks like a job for two X-Men. The Wendigo will stay behind on the Blackbird though, as Logan still fears what might become of the poor kid under pressure. Nightcrawler gets to work bamfing all the poor workers to safety, and it's not long before we realize that this chemical refinery just so happens to make very particular chemicals used in, you guessed it, the bonding of adamantium. Hey, who could have thunk it, right? It's also here that Wolverine once again ends up coming face to face with Cyber, though much like Lady Deathstrike and Constrictor, the lights are on, but no one seems to be home right now. Well, there is something definitely puppeteering them, but it's hard to actually say what it is. Again, the voice starts speaking in Wolverine's head, talking about purity and false metal, as well as the endless clanging before eventually saying that perhaps Wolverine could be the true champion the Adamantine we're looking for, but that the only way they'll know for sure how worthy he truly is if they are willing to break Wolverine and put him back together all over again. And as the comic comes to a close, we're treated to a pretty gory image of a Wolverine that has been fully vivisected. And so that was Wolverine issue number 5, everybody, and ultimately I thought this issue was fine. Not particularly great, but fine. It gets the job done. My biggest issue is that honestly, issue 5 feels a hell of a lot like issue 4. We don't really learn any new information about this new crazy metal, where it comes from, what it wants, how it's related to the old adamantium, and what Wolverine, the character in the book, learns is stuff that we, the reader, already knew. Which does indeed get a little annoying to see this character be behind the curve for a good chunk of the book. On the upside though, the supporting cast work is strong. I like that Nightcrawler is along for the ride in this one, and I am indeed enjoying how they're building up the Wendigo as the latest in a long line of young people that Wolverine has saw fit to mentor, only this time, you know what, they're not a peppy young girl. I do hope for pacing's sake the next issue decides to really knuckle down and explain what's going on with this gold adamantium, because I am interested to learn, as well as excited to see how many other adamantium using characters could also end up getting roped into this story story at some point. Ultimately, I would give this one a 7 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.